We're going to turn to Iraq now. Militants with the Islamic State are making new gains in northern Iraq, pushing back Kurdish security forces and forcing thousands of people to flee. CCTV's Malini Wilkes is here now and joins us with the very latest.
Well, good afternoon, and in just a matter of hours, Sean, the Islamic State fighters seized 3 more towns and at least 2 small oil fields. There are conflicting reports about whether they also control the Mosul Dam, the largest in Iraq. The fighting started Saturday and continued into Sunday. The militants drove out Peshmerga forces from the self-ruled Kurdish region in small towns between Mosul and the Syrian border. At least 14 Kurdish troops were reportedly killed. The Peshmerga are considered fierce fighters, well-trained and well-equipped. They held back the extremists after the Islamic State first seized Mosul and moved into northern Iraq in June, while some of the Iraqi government troops simply turned and abandoned their posts. With Sunni extremists in control, the United Nations says thousands of civilians are fleeing the town of Sinjar. It was already a refuge for tens of thousands escaping earlier militant advances. Most are Yazidi, a Kurdish minority religious sect. The UN estimates up to 200,000 people are taking shelter in nearby mountains but are surrounded by the militants. The UN Special Envoy said in a statement, "A humanitarian tragedy is unfolding in Sinjar. The government of Iraq and the Kurdistan Regional Government should urgently restore their security cooperation in dealing with the crisis. I call on all Iraqi authorities, civil society, and international partners to work with the United Nations to ensure the delivery of life-saving humanitarian assistance." Meantime, Iraq says security is tight at the Baghdad International Airport, but most airlines are running a normal schedule. Late last week, federal restrictions were announced on U.S. airlines flying below 30,000 feet in Iraqi airspace. The fear is that the Islamic State might have weapons capable of shooting down those planes. Some European airlines also have rerouted and restricted flights, Sean.
Well, what are we hearing from the Kurds?
Well, the Kurdish forces are reportedly saying that they've just pulled back into the Kurdish autonomous territory and are getting reinforcement. But we are hearing also troubling reports of what is happening in Sinjar through social media, through phone calls. Yazidis saying that they have seen their neighbors being kidnapped and are hearing about executions. The UN is very, very concerned about the militants' purging of minorities. Last month, the Islamic State expelled Christians from Mosul, requiring them to convert, pay a tax, or face death, and the UN worried that this may also now be happening to the Yazidi minority as well.
Molly, thanks for bringing us up to date. Sadly, this has been pushed off the front page with all the events going on in Israel, an important story. Thanks, Molly.
Absolutely.